So I know that burning out, mental fatigue is not necessarily something that we really talk about a lot of time. Whether you are a professional, you're a business owner, you have a side hustle, but at what point do you then notice that you're actually burning out, and then what are the things that you can do? So number one is if you're constantly working late, like working very late. So I understand that some of us actually work with a different time zone, so your work might be required to, maybe you have to work at night and probably during the day you're sleeping. But if you're working for long hours, say like normally you're supposed to work about 40 hours in a week averagely, but if you're saying that you're working close to 60 hours, 70 hours in a week, please, you're already burning yourself out. So you need to be able to evaluate as much as possible. And you know how all those things usually start? It usually starts like little by little by little. Okay, so they sent you this work, you decide to like work on it immediately, or constantly just working yourself out, you're working very late. It is actually a sign that you're actually on that journey, small, like on that journey little by little basically. So you actually want to be very cautious of it. Of course, there are times that probably you have projects, you have a business to deliver and it require you, but I'm talking about when you notice that it's now becoming a pattern, it's now becoming a habit. Daily you are having to work, you're sleeping less hours, you're sleeping like 3 hours, 4 hours. You need to watch it so that it doesn't get to that point where you now totally break down. Because usually, most times our bodies actually like gives us sign. Maybe sometimes you're already stressing yourself, you are feeling tired, you are feeling headache, usually like very tiny signs like that. So it's important for you to be able to avoid long hours of work or working very late as much as possible. So tip number 2 is afraid of saying no. Yeah, I know that some people are saying, oh my god, I know that it's always easier said than done, but trust me, when you notice that people are sending work, or your clients are requesting for some things at certain times, like regularly, so I'm not saying like once in a while, that kind of thing, I'm saying on a day-to-day basis. I know that this is more for professionals and business owners. So one rule I would say is set a time that you know that you don't take jobs, and even if anybody sends you job, anything to do, you just kindly respond to them that I will not be able to attend to it at this point, but definitely you will get it at so point, so that person knows. Because if you don't do so, there's more likelihood that they would continually come over and over and expecting you to deliver like ASAP. I remember recently one of my team members wanted to do something impromptu, and then she was then calling me at 8-9 in the night for me to help her do. I'm like, send her a message, auntie, I cannot answer you at this time. And the reason why I had to put my foot down was because I know that if I answer her for this one, tomorrow I gave her like, oh, I'm going to do it now. At that time, I'm like, no, it won't work, and it will become a pattern. And before you know it, they just send you things to do. Your client says, oh, I need this thing tomorrow. Like I said, if it is, that it's now becoming a habit. If it's just once in a while, that is fine. But when you notice that, there's no closing hour, there's nothing, they just give you work like that, trust me, you're on your way to being burnt out. Another sign also is working very hard on weekends, back to back. Like every weekend, you're having to work. Weekend, I mean Saturday, Sunday, you're working full hours, having like for a long period of time, for a couple of weeks. Trust me, by the time you finish that project or you finish that transaction, you would, most people most times just break down and just they're actually very burnt out. So you want to try as much as possible to avoid that. So if you have projects to work on, business transactions to work on, you want to space it as much as possible. You want to get, even before the deadline, you want to get some things done to that time, so that as the deadline comes, I know that there is always more tension towards the deadline, but if you've done a whole lot of things ahead, even if there's going to be a bit of pressure, it won't be that you would have to work weekends back to back to back to back, because trust me, that is not healthy for you. Because once you're burnt out, it's hard for you to think creatively. It is hard for you to be able to communicate. I mean, like, people just react, and that's why it looks as if when you go out, especially in somewhere like Lagos, you see that people are just angry. Like, people, you even on the road, you just see people angry. People just, people are actually burnt out. That's the truth about it. And most times they cannot vent their anger to the person that is causing the anger. They just vent it to random people, so you want to just try it out. And most times people don't actually know that they are venting their anger, or they are reacting in a manner that is not appropriate. So to them it is fine, but to other people, you then know that, oh, this person something is wrong somewhere. So try as much as possible to pace your work so that you don't have to work back to back on weekends. Another tip is avoiding meaningless meetings. Thank God for video conferencing platforms, and even despite that, you have a lot of meetings that that truthfully you have like no business being there, in quotes, but they just want you to be there. And especially if it's now becoming like a routine thing, one thing I always advise is you can always talk to your clients, or you can always talk to your team leads, and just most people will be like, you want them to sack me, or you want them to do this, but the truth is that if you don't talk, it will continue to happen. So you want to ensure that your meetings are planned out as much as possible, so you can plan to attend, and try to avoid impromptu meetings, and then also avoid unnecessarily long meetings. I know that some people can talk. So people can talk like they can talk for hours, but I feel like you have to be able to communicate and just, okay, so what, of course you don't have to do it in a rude manner, but you can communicate effectively and say, please, exactly when are we wrapping up, that kind of. So because you want to avoid meaningless meetings as much as possible, because those meetings just makes you, especially when you're having all these things back to back, like I said, makes you very, very tired mentally, and you won't be able to get productive work done as much as possible. So I think that is very helpful is for you to take breathing exercises, and of course meditation. This is very, very important. You want to schedule just time for yourself. You want to schedule time that's just like time out, basically. After working for a couple of hours, you actually want to have time out where you just deep breaths and just relax, basically. Whether you're at work, at home, this is very important, because having to work for a long period of time, especially when you're working with your laptop, it makes you quite tired, easily. So you want to ensure that as much as possible that you schedule like time out. So for me personally, once I work for like 2 hours, I want to take the next 30 minutes for a break. I just want to probably stretch out, or just do something fun, play game or something, just to cool me down. Because working like for a couple of hours, most times if I do it at a stretch, I just notice at the end of the day probably I'm just having headache, or I'm going to be extremely tired. So you want to factor meditations, you want to factor time out, you want to factor breathing, deep breathing exercises into your day as well, so that you can prevent burning out. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I of course look forward to your comments in the comment section. I want to hear what are the ways that you use to avoid being burnt out, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a professional. So let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share, and of course like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.